Welcome back, Queens. Have you ever felt it? That moment when he pushes you just a little too far, just to see how much you'll take. Maybe he says something sharp, just to test if you'll bite back. Maybe he pulls away, waiting to see if you'll chase. Maybe he crosses a line, just to watch if you'll redraw it or let it fade. It's not an accident. It's not harmless. It's a test. And right now, you have a choice. Will you react? Will you shrink? Will you let him think he holds the power? Or will you do something so unexpected, so powerful, that he never tries to test you again? Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where your strength begins. Not in his words, not in his actions, not in the games he plays, but in your ability to stand firm, untouched, untamed, unshaken. He wants to know if he can push you off balance, if he can make you doubt yourself, if he can stir emotions so deep that you lose control. But what happens when you don't move? What happens when he pushes and instead of breaking, you rise? Think of a mountain standing against the wind. The storm rages, the winds howl. The world tries to shake its foundation, but the mountain doesn't move. It doesn't fight back. It doesn't prove itself. It simply is, unmovable. That is what you must become. The moment he realizes that no matter what he does, no matter how he tests you, no matter how he tries to pull you into chaos, you remain untouched. That is the moment he will never see you the same again. Because here's the truth. A man does not respect what he can easily shake. He does not value what he can push and pull at will. The moment he sees that his words don't rattle you, his silence doesn't weaken you, his tests don't break you, that is the moment he realizes he is standing in the presence of something rare, something untouchable, something he will never control. And that is when the power shifts. In relationships, attraction isn't built through desperation. It's built through presence. The way you carry yourself, the way you hold your power, the way you refuse to be played with. A man will always test the woman he desires, not because he wants her to fail, but because he wants to know who she is. Is she fragile, easily swayed by emotion, or is she a force, someone who commands his respect without ever raising her voice, someone who doesn't need to prove anything to him because she already knows her worth? And this is where you step into your power. Because you are not here to be tested. You are not here to be played with like a game on a board that he controls. You are here to reign, to set the tone, to show him, not through words, not through arguments, not through proving yourself, but through presence alone, that you are untouchable. And when you do this, when you embody this energy, something shifts. Suddenly, it is not you proving yourself to him. It is him questioning if he is enough for you. But before you embrace this power, you must let go of the old ways, the over-explaining, the overreacting, the over-giving, the fear of losing him, the seeking of validation. That is not your path anymore. You are no longer a woman waiting to be chosen. You are the woman who chooses. And when you embrace this, when you step into this, everything changes. He may have thought he could test you. He may have thought he could push your limits. But what he did not realize is that you are limitless. He expected you to react, to fight, to explain, to prove. But instead, you rise, you stand, you let the silence speak for itself. And in that moment, he realizes he was never testing you. You were testing him. And now he has to live with the knowledge that he pushed too far. And instead of breaking, you became something he can never shake, never control, never own. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you take back your power. The moment you stop waiting. The moment you stop seeking permission to be everything you already are. You are not a woman who bends to a man's tests. You are not here to convince him of your worth. You are here to live in your power, to stand unshaken, to walk with the kind of confidence that makes the ground tremble beneath your feet. So let him push, let him test, let him wonder. And when he does, show him something he never expected. Show him what it looks like when a woman refuses to break. Show him what it means to be untouchable. Show him what it means to be a queen. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the strength that has always been inside you, write this in the comments. I am untouchable. Nothing and no one can shake me. Say it, own it, live it. Because this isn't just a video. This isn't just a lesson. This is a movement. A space where you will never again question your power. A space where you rise. A space where you reign. Now go, and let the world see the woman no man can break. Queens, if this message ignited even the smallest spark inside you, if it reminded you of the power that has always been yours, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We pour our hearts into creating content that lifts you up, that reminds you of your worth, that gives you the strength to stand unshaken. Your support means everything, and together we are building a movement of women who refuse to be anything less than extraordinary. Let's rise, let's reign, and let's make sure no one ever forgets the power we hold. Number 1. When he pushes you to the edge, don't fall, fly. Have you ever felt like he's watching, waiting, testing you to see if you'll crumble? Maybe he pushes you emotionally, seeing how much you can take before you break. Maybe he withdraws, hoping you'll chase. Maybe he says something sharp, just to see if it shakes you. It feels like you're standing on the edge of something, uncertainty, doubt, frustration. He wants to know if he has the power to push you over. But here's where he's wrong. Because when you stand at the edge, you don't fall, you fly. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where your power begins. Not in his hands, not in his words, not in his actions. It begins within you. He may push, he may test, but what happens next? That's yours to decide. You can let his words shake your confidence. You can let his silence make you feel small. Or you can rise so high that his tests become nothing more than echoes in the distance. Think of a bird standing on the edge of a cliff. The wind howls, the storm looms, and the ground beneath seems to disappear. It would be easy to fear the fall, easy to stay grounded, waiting for safety. But the bird does not fear the edge, because it was born to fly. That is you. He wants to see if you'll stumble, if you'll doubt yourself, if you'll hold on to something that no longer serves you. But instead, you let go, spread your wings, and soar into something greater. A man will always test a woman to see how much control he has. He wants to know if he can make you react, if he can make you doubt yourself, if he can make you lose your power in the presence of his uncertainty. But the moment he realizes that his push did not make you weaker, that it made you stronger, that is the moment everything shifts. Because suddenly, it is no longer you proving yourself to him. It is him questioning if he is even worthy of you. This is where you rise into something untouchable, no longer clinging to his approval, no longer waiting for his attention, no longer proving your worth. Because you are not a woman who falls. You are a woman who takes every test, every push, every moment of doubt, and turns it into fuel. You rise so high that he has no choice but to look up in awe, wondering how he ever thought he could break you. But before you claim this power, you must let go of the old ways, the fear, the chasing, the need to be understood, the need to be chosen. Those days are over. You are no longer at the mercy of his tests. You are the one who decides how this story ends. And when you step into this, when you own this power, something incredible happens. He feels it. The moment he senses that his actions no longer dictate your emotions, that his silence no longer makes you anxious, that his push no longer shakes you, that is the moment he realizes he lost the game he was playing. Because queens do not fall at the edge. They take flight. So let him push. Let him wonder. Let him see if you will break. And when he does, show him something he never expected. Show him what happens when a woman stops waiting, stops doubting, stops proving. Show him what it means to be untouchable. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I don't fall, I fly. And if this message reminded you of your power, if it lit a fire inside you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you the lessons that will change your life, that will remind you of who you truly are. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Now go and let the world see the woman who can never be pushed down. Number 2. He wants to know if he can shake your world, so become the earthquake. Have you ever felt it? That shift in energy when he starts testing you, watching, waiting, seeing if you'll bend, if you'll break, if you'll crumble at his feet. Maybe he pulls away to see if you'll chase. Maybe he says something sharp, something meant to sting, just to see if you'll react. Maybe he disappears, leaving behind silence, waiting to see if you'll reach for him first. It's not random. It's not harmless. It's a test to see if he can shake your world. But what happens when, instead of breaking, you become the earthquake? Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Every second spent explaining, proving, chasing, doubting, is time wasted. He wants to know if you'll give him that power, if he can make you question yourself, if he can control your emotions like a puppet master pulling strings. But what if you cut the strings? What if, instead of letting him dictate the game, you flip the entire board? That is where your power lies. Think of an earthquake. It does not ask permission to shake the ground. It does not warn, does not seek approval, does not hesitate. It arrives in full force, shifting everything, leaving nothing the same. That is who you must become. A man will always push to see how far he can go. He will challenge you, seeing if your confidence is real or just an act. He will test you, not always because he wants to break you, but because he wants to know, what are you made of? If he can shake you, then he will never truly value you. Because a man does not respect what he can easily move. Attraction is not about being available at his every call. It is not about proving your worth to him. It is about presence. The moment he sees that no test, no game, no silence can move you, something shifts inside him. He thought he could push you into seeking his approval. He thought he could make you react. But now, he's the one who is thrown off balance. He starts wondering, why isn't she reacting? Why isn't she chasing? Why isn't she trying to prove herself? And suddenly, the power shifts. Now, it is he who feels unsteady. But before you can step into this power, you must let go of the habits that hold you back. No more over-explaining. No more emotional outbursts. No more waiting for him to realize your worth. Those days are gone. The moment you stop reacting is the moment you reclaim control. Let him feel your stillness. Let him feel the weight of his own test as it backfires. Because you are no longer the woman waiting for answers. You are the woman he is now trying to figure out. And this is where you rise. You are not weak. You are not desperate. You are not someone who bends at the first sign of resistance. You are power in its purest form. You are the storm he never saw coming. You are the force that cannot be controlled. And when you step into that truth, everything changes. He may have thought he could test you, but now he's the one being tested. Will he rise to meet you at your level? Or will he realize too late that he was never strong enough to handle a woman who refuses to be shaken? Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop reacting and start commanding. The moment you stop seeking and start choosing. The moment you become the earthquake that shakes his world instead of letting him shake yours. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. I do not break. I make the ground tremble. Say it, own it, live it. And if this message reminded you of your power, if it lit even the smallest fire inside you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We work hard to bring you these life-changing lessons because you deserve to stand unshaken, unmovable, untouchable. Let's rise together. Let's reign together. And let the world see the woman who cannot be broken. Number 3, you are not an emotional puppet. Cut the strings and take back your power. Have you ever felt like he's pulling the strings, seeing how far he can push you before you break? Maybe he gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, then disappears, leaving you questioning everything. Maybe he knows exactly what to say to get under your skin, just to watch you react. Maybe he pulls away, waiting to see if you'll chase. It's not a mistake. It's not a misunderstanding. It's control. And the more you play into it, the tighter the strings wrap around you. But what happens when the puppet stops dancing? What happens when you cut the strings and refuse to be controlled? He loses his grip. He realizes the game no longer works. And suddenly, the power he thought he had is gone. Seneca once said, "A wise person does not put her happiness in another's hands." That is what you must remember. He does not hold your happiness. He does not hold your peace. He does not hold your worth. The only reason he seems to have control is because you let him. But now, that ends. Think of a puppet hanging on a stage. Every movement, every reaction, every emotion is dictated by the one pulling the strings. It moves not because it wants to, but because it has no choice. But what if, for the first time, the puppet refuses? What if it no longer reacts? What if it stands still, unmoved until the strings snap? That is when it stops being a puppet and becomes something else entirely, something free. That is you. You are not here to be controlled. You are not here to respond to every push, every test, every game. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop letting his actions dictate your emotions, everything changes. He expects you to beg. He expects you to overthink. He expects you to be desperate for his attention. But when you don't, when you rise above it, he is the one who starts to question himself. This is not about being cold. It is not about shutting down your emotions. It is about mastering them, about knowing that no test, no silence, no distance can shake what is already unshakable. When you understand this, you become untouchable. He will sense it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you no longer react, in the way you no longer let him dictate how you feel. And the moment he realizes he has lost control, that is the moment he sees you differently. Because here's the truth. A man does not value what he can manipulate. He values what he cannot control. When he sees that you do not need his approval, that his tests do not affect you, that his absence does not weaken you, he begins to crave what he can no longer have power over. That is when the shift happens. He thought he could push you, pull you, play with your emotions like a puppet. But now he is the one left wondering if he is enough for you. But before you step into this power, you must let go of fear. The fear of losing him, the fear of standing alone, the fear that if you do not react, he will forget you. Because that is not how this works. A woman who refuses to be controlled does not lose, she wins. The moment you stop waiting, stop chasing, stop explaining, that is the moment you take back your power. And that power? It is what makes you unforgettable. When he looks back, he won't remember the moments where he tested you. He will remember the moment you stopped letting him. The moment you chose yourself. The moment you cut the strings and walked away, not because you had to, but because you finally understood that you were never the puppet. You were always the one with the power. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop playing the game and start owning the board. The moment you stop proving your worth and start knowing it. The moment you stop waiting for permission and start taking control. Say this and claim it. I am not a puppet. I am untouchable. Write it in the comments. Say it out loud. Let it be the truth you live by. And if this message awakened something in you, if it reminded you of the power that has always been yours, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the lessons, the reminders, the strength you need to step into the woman you were always meant to be. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Now, go. Let the world see the woman no man can control. Number 4. Your silence will teach him more than your words ever could. Have you ever noticed how silence can be louder than words? How the absence of your voice, your energy, your reaction can shake him more than any argument ever could? He expects a response. He expects you to explain, to beg, to fight, to prove. But what happens when you give him nothing? What happens when, instead of chasing, you stand still? That is when he truly begins to hear you. That is when he realizes that your silence is not weakness. It is power. Seneca once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." When he tests you, when he pushes your limits, when he plays with your emotions, the most powerful thing you can do is pause. Do not react. Do not explain. Do not feed into his game. Let him sit in the space he created. Let him wonder. Let him feel the weight of his own actions without you rushing to soften the blow. Because in that silence, he will hear the one thing he was never prepared for, the loss of your presence. Think of fire. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It doesn't need to announce its power. It simply burns. The moment you remove oxygen, the moment you stop feeding it, it begins to fade. That is exactly how attraction works. The moment you stop fueling his ego, the moment you stop reacting to his tests, the moment you stop proving your worth, that is the moment he starts feeling the void. He thought he could push you, pull you, manipulate you into reacting. But now, he is the one waiting. Now, he is the one questioning. Because here's the truth. He is not testing you because he doubts you. He is testing you to see if you doubt yourself. If you will fight for his approval. If you will break just to hold on to him. But you are not here to pass his tests. You are not here to prove your worth to a man who should have seen it from the start. You are here to own your power, to stand unshaken, to show him that his silence does not weaken you because you are the one who chooses when to speak, when to walk away, when to let go. In relationships, power is not in words, it is in presence. The woman who does not beg, the woman who does not explain, the woman who does not react, is the woman who commands respect. The moment you stop trying to fix things, the moment you stop proving yourself, the moment you step back and simply exist in your power, that is when everything changes. He may have thought he had control. He may have thought he could test your limits. But now he sees that you are untouchable. This is when you step into your strength. No more over-explaining. No more emotional outbursts. No more waiting for him to validate what you already know. You are enough. He will feel it when you stop responding the way he expected. He will feel it when you let the silence stretch between you like a wall he can't break through. He will feel it when he realizes that the moment he tested you, he set something in motion that he can no longer control. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you take back your power. The moment you stop letting a man decide how you feel, how you react, how you see yourself. Let him sit in the silence. Let him feel the loss of what he took for granted. Because a woman who does not break, a woman who does not need to explain, a woman who does not react, is a woman who is unforgettable. Write this in the comments. Claim it. Own it. My silence is my power. Let him feel the absence of your energy. Let him hear the lesson in the quiet. And if this message reminded you of who you truly are, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create content that lifts you up, that gives you strength, that reminds you of the power you have always had. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Number 5. A queen does not chase a king. She makes him kneel. Have you ever noticed how a man only starts paying attention the moment you stop chasing? When you give too much, when you prove yourself, when you keep trying to show him your worth, he pulls away. But the second you stop, the second you reclaim your power, something shifts. Suddenly, he's watching. Suddenly, he's thinking. Suddenly, he realizes that the woman he thought would always be there is no longer waiting. Because a queen does not chase a king. She makes him kneel. Seneca once said, "Throw me to the wolves, and I will return leading the pack." That is the energy you must carry. When he tests your patience, when he pulls away just to see if you'll follow, when he acts distant hoping you'll close the gap, let him feel the emptiness of your absence. Let him sit in the silence of a woman who refuses to beg. Let him learn the hard way that your love is not a given. It is a privilege. A man does not value what he can easily control. He respects what he cannot shake. If he believes he can pull away and you will run after him, he will keep testing those limits. He will keep seeing how far he can push. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop seeking, the moment you show him that his absence does not weaken you, that is the moment he starts questioning everything. Think of a flame. It does not chase the air. It does not beg for space. It simply burns. And when the air is right, when the conditions are set, the fire grows so strong that it cannot be ignored. That is attraction. That is power. When he steps back, do not run forward. Let him feel the distance. Let him wonder. Let him question. Let him crave what he once took for granted. Because here's the truth. A queen never lowers herself to convince a man of her worth. She does not beg for his attention. She does not compete for his validation. She does not play the game. She owns the entire board. She moves with certainty, with grace, with an unshakable presence that makes a man realize he is in the presence of something rare. This is not about arrogance. This is about self-respect. A woman who knows her worth does not chase. She attracts. She does not prove. She embodies. And when a man feels this, when he realizes that no test, no distance, no game can shake her, he is forced to rise to her level, or he is left behind. Either way, she wins. Let him pull away. Let him wonder if he still has a place in your world. Because when a man feels that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee, that is when he kneels. Not because you forced him to, not because you played a game, but because he sees what he risks losing. And by the time he realizes it, you will have already risen so high that looking back is no longer an option. Queens, this is your moment. Enough waiting, enough proving, enough chasing. It's time to take back your power. Write this in the comments and claim it. I do not chase, I reign. Let the world know that from this moment on, you will never again run after what is already meant for you. And if this message awakened something inside you, if it reminded you of the strength that has always been yours, then take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We work hard to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons because you deserve nothing less. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Number 6. He wants to see if you will fold under pressure. So turn the pressure into your power. Have you ever noticed how he watches you closely when things get tough? How he tests you, waiting to see if you'll bend, break, or give in. Maybe he picks a fight just to see if you'll lose control. Maybe he pulls away, hoping you'll chase. Maybe he makes you doubt yourself just to see if you'll fold under the weight of his silence. It's a game, but the stakes are high. Because the moment you crumble, the moment you let his pressure shake you, that's the moment he knows he has control. But what happens when, instead of folding, you rise? What happens when you take all that pressure and turn it into power? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." This is where your strength is born, not in the chaos he creates, not in proving yourself to him, but in your ability to remain still, unshaken, untouchable. He wants to know if he can break you, but let him find out that his tests only make you stronger. Think of a diamond. It doesn't form in comfort. It is made under extreme pressure, under forces so intense that it has no choice but to transform into something rare, something unbreakable. That is you. Every challenge, every moment of doubt, every time he tries to make you question your worth, it is all pressure. But you are not here to break. You are here to shine. In relationships, a man will test a woman, not to destroy her, but to see what she is made of. Can she hold her own? Does she stay true to herself when things get hard? Or does she crumble, seeking his approval, proving herself, fighting to be enough? The truth is, a man does not truly value what he can easily shake. He respects what he cannot move. The moment you show him that his pressure only makes you stronger, that his silence only gives you more peace, that his tests do not shake your foundation, that is the moment everything changes. And this is where you step into your power. Because you are not here to be tested like a student waiting for a grade. You are not here to prove your worth. You are not a woman who begs, pleads, or explains. You are the kind of woman who lets her presence do all the speaking. When he creates distance, you do not chase. When he tries to provoke a reaction, you stay calm. When he tests your patience, you remain unshaken. And in that moment, he realizes he was never testing you. You were testing him. But before you rise, before you own this power, you must let go of the things that keep you weak. The over-apologizing, the over-explaining, the fear of losing him, the endless proving, the waiting. Those days are over. You are not here to wait for his validation. You are here to walk with a presence so strong that he has no choice but to feel it. This is when he starts to see you differently, when he realizes that the things that once worked no longer hold power. He expected you to cry, to beg, to fight for his attention, but instead you are calm, composed, unbothered. And now it is he who feels the pressure. Now it is he who wonders if he is enough for you. Because when a woman reaches this level of power, she doesn't need to say a word. Her energy speaks for itself. And that is what you are stepping into now, the kind of strength that cannot be faked, the kind of presence that cannot be ignored. Queens, this is your moment. This is where you decide that you will never again fold under pressure, that you will never again let a man's tests shake you, that you will never again doubt your own worth because of his silence, his distance, his games. You are not an option. You are not here to be tested. You are here to reign. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim your power. I do not fold under pressure. I rise. Say it, own it, live it. And if this message reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We pour our hearts into creating content that lifts you up, that reminds you of your worth, that gives you the strength to stand unshaken. Your support means everything, and together we are building a movement of women who refuse to be anything less than extraordinary. Let's rise, let's reign, and let's make sure no one ever forgets the power we hold. Number 7. You are not an option waiting to be chosen. You are the prize that demands to be earned. Have you ever felt like you were waiting for a call, waiting for a text, waiting for a moment that proves you matter to him? Maybe he's giving you just enough attention to keep you hopeful, but not enough to make you feel secure. Maybe he's keeping you close, but never fully choosing you. Maybe he's testing how long you'll wait, how much you'll give, how far you'll go just to prove you're worthy. But here's what he doesn't realize. You are not an option. You are not standing in line, hoping to be picked. You are not someone he gets to maybe choose. You are the prize. And the moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop proving, the moment you stop needing his validation, that is the moment everything shifts. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a person perfected without trials." Every moment of doubt, every second of uncertainty, every time he made you question your worth, it wasn't breaking you. It was refining you. Because the truth is, he was never the one testing you. You were testing him. And now, it's time to decide if he's even worthy of standing in your presence. Think of the sun. It does not ask permission to shine. It does not wait for someone to acknowledge its warmth. It does not beg to be seen. It simply rises, day after day, unwavering, undeniable, unstoppable. That is the energy you must carry. You are not here to chase, to beg, to prove your value. The moment you embrace that truth, the moment you start walking like a woman who knows she's the prize, he will feel the shift. And trust me, he will never see you the same again. A man only plays games with a woman who lets him. He only keeps her waiting if she allows it. He only keeps her in the grey area if she tolerates it. But the second she stops waiting, stops proving, stops letting him treat her like an afterthought, everything changes. He realizes he is either stepping up or stepping out, but standing in between is no longer an option. This is where you take back your power. Because the truth is, you were never waiting on him. You were waiting on yourself. To see your worth, to claim your place, to stop asking for a love that should have been freely given. And now is the moment you choose yourself, without hesitation, without fear, without apology. A queen does not beg for attention. She does not stand in line, hoping to be chosen. She does not lower her standards to keep a man interested. She walks with certainty. She speaks with power. She moves like she knows she is the prize. And the moment you embody this energy, the game ends. Because now he is the one who sees the difference. He is the one who feels the shift. He is the one who realizes that he was never in control to begin with. He thought he could keep you on standby. He thought he could push just enough to see how much you'd take. He thought he could make you doubt yourself. But what he didn't realize is that you were never an option. And now he will have to live with the knowledge that he lost something rare, something powerful, something unforgettable. Queens, this is your moment. No more waiting, no more proving, no more hoping he sees your worth. You are not a maybe. You are not a backup plan. You are not a second choice. You are the prize, and the moment you embrace that truth, your entire world shifts. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. I am not an option. I am the prize. Say it, own it, live it. And if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of the power you have always held, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working tirelessly to bring you lessons that empower you, strengthen you, and remind you of the queen you are becoming. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Number 8. He will test you to see if you need him, but show him you are already whole. Have you ever felt it? That moment when he pulls back, when he grows distant, when his words don't hold the same warmth they once did. You sense the shift. Suddenly, it feels like you have something to prove. Should you reach out? Should you fight for his attention? Should you remind him why he should choose you? That is the trap. He is testing you. He wants to see if you need him. But here's the truth. You don't. And the moment he realizes that, everything changes. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." But what about a woman's worth? A woman's worth is not measured by how much she can hold on to a man. It is measured by how much she refuses to settle, by how deeply she knows her own value. He wants to see if his absence will shake you, if his silence will make you question yourself, if his pullback will make you chase. But what happens when you don't? What happens when, instead of running after him, you stand so firm, so untouched by his test, that he has no choice but to see you in a way he never did before? Think of the ocean. A wave crashes against the shore, retreats, and then crashes again. But no matter how many times it pulls away, the shore remains. It does not chase the water. It does not beg the waves to stay. It simply is, steady, unmoved. That is the energy you must embody. The moment he realizes that you are whole, with or without him, is the moment he understands he never had control over you to begin with. In relationships, attraction is not built through desperation. It is built through power, through presence, through the unshakable confidence of a woman who knows she does not need a man. She chooses him. And that is the lesson he must learn. He must see that his absence does not create a void in your life, that his silence does not make you lose sleep, that his tests only serve to remind you of the power you already have. This is where you shift everything. Because the moment you stop proving, the moment you stop explaining, the moment you stop reacting, that is when the power is no longer in his hands. A man will always test a woman to see if she is easily swayed, easily shaken, easily controlled. But when he sees that no matter what he does, you remain steady, radiant, untouchable, that is when he realizes you are the kind of woman he cannot replace. But before you step into this power, you must let go of the old ways, the over-apologizing, the over-explaining, the over-giving, the belief that if you just do enough, he will finally see your worth. Queens, stop waiting. Stop waiting for a man to confirm what you already know. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into his world. Stop believing that his attention is a prize. You are the prize. The moment you claim that truth, the moment you live in it fully, the game is over. Because here's what will happen next. He will feel it. The shift, the energy, the way you no longer react, the way his silence no longer moves you, the way you carry yourself, not as a woman waiting, but as a woman who has already arrived. And that is when he will question everything. Did he underestimate you? Did he think he could pull away and return whenever he wanted? Did he believe he could test your limits and still have access to you? But by the time he realizes what he had, you will have already risen. You will have already stepped into a version of yourself so strong, so untouchable, that looking back is no longer an option. He thought he could test you, but instead, he tested himself. And now, he is the one who has to live with the consequences. Queens, this is your moment. Enough waiting, enough doubting, enough proving. You do not need a man to complete you. You are already whole. Say it, believe it, live it. And when he sees the woman you have become, he will understand that his greatest mistake was thinking you were just another option. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim your power. I do not need him. I am already whole. Say it loud. Say it with conviction. Let it be the truth that shapes your every step forward. And if this message reminded you of your power, if it spoke to the fire inside you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We pour everything into creating life-changing lessons for you, because you are not here to be tested. You are here to rise, to reign, and to show the world the woman who cannot be shaken.